Welcome to Overcoming Adversity Podcast, a podcast powered by Next Level Recovery Associates, and we focus on mental health and addiction. How are you doing today, Sarah?
Good. We're wearing another, I think we like to match.
We're twinnies.
Yeah, we do. Show up, we're wearing the same thing.
We are.
Yeah.
I have a little different look, though. I got like the tank top.
But the hoop
popping.
earrings.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
the hoops. Yours are silver, mine are gold.
Oh, yeah. I'm not
Our
a gold
differentiators.
person. Yeah, for sure. So Matt is not here today. So it's just going to be a girl talk today, which I love.
We missed the fancy intro, though.
I know. I can't do it.
I can't do it.
People will turn it off.
I can do it cutely, but not like Matt.
Yeah, no.
Not with the
definitely
radio
not.
voice.
No, for sure. So what did you want to talk about today?
Well, I think we'll call this episode #Mom Life.
Oh, love that.
Right?
Yeah.
Because we're both moms and we're in very different phases of motherhood, which is fun to compare. And to,
How old are your kids?
My daughter is 11, almost 12, and my son is 18, almost 19, and just graduated high school.
Oh.
And yeah, it feels weird. I feel like I was just his age, like mentally and emotionally. Sometimes I'm like, how the hell do I have an 18-year-old? Because I feel like that's where I am.
Yeah.
High school feels like a lifetime ago, but also feels like yesterday. So it feels really surreal and odd to have an adult,
Yeah.
And how old are your children, Miss Sarah?
So my daughter Serena's 1 and Bryce will be 3 in October. So it's a wild ride currently. I've come to find out that you don't just have anxiety as a newborn stage. It's throughout life, even when they are 18 or 30. So that's fun to realize. I thought it was just like when they're babies, but come to find out, it's always anxiety as a mom.
I heard a thing lately and I related to it, like big kids, big problems, right? Because as your kids grow into teenage, like my daughter Scarlett's going into middle school, right? I'm terrified. I already told her, listen, if there's some drama and you're not happy and like you feel like bullying or anything like that, like I will homeschool you. I will change my life to homeschool you.
Yeah.
It scares me more for a daughter than it does for my son. My son was pretty good. He's just that guy that like gets along with everybody.
Yeah.
And he's easygoing. And so for him, he skirted through middle school and high school without like anything close to what I did. And I'm just scared for a daughter to do that. It's scary.
Yeah. Yeah. I could imagine. Boys are easier in that age.
Yes.
So I kind of was thinking about, what to talk about since it's just us girls today. And obviously, Matt is not a mother. So I was like, we might as well talk about moms, and I think that, we've done Instagram lives about, moms and the community. I think that it's important on my end. I think when, I had my kids and I felt very alone, to know that there are people there, whether it's you don't have, because everybody says it takes a village, right?
It truly does.
But it's not just one type of village,
No.
It's not just your family, especially how about if you don't live close to your family? Like
Right.
my family lives in Massachusetts. And it's really like kind of building your own community if you don't have it right there convenient for you. So
Everything comes back to community with us.
community. Yeah.
We're such community people. It's the way
And I was an isolator for sure.
You were. I pulled you out that hole.
No, you did. Yeah.
Kind of like this annoying plague. I just don't go away.
Yeah, you didn't. You showed up.
I'm persistent.
You showed up. She talked to my mother. Tried to use my mother to get me out. That wasn't going to work, because my mom's a lot like I am in that way.
Yeah, that backfired.
Yeah, totally backfired. So, how did you build a community for yourself when you were in? Obviously your story is a little bit different from when you had your son versus when you had your daughter. But kind of what did that look like for you?
That's a great question. You're a good question.
I don't. Yeah,
you're a good interviewer.
I had an energy drink today. I'm just gonna say so.
No, you're just a good interviewer.
Oh,
which
thanks.
I know, for being so new at it, you have a natural gift, my
Thanks. I appreciate it.
friend. So it's been different, obviously. But I've built many communities, right? As we change and grow and evolve, and people come in and out of our lives. And I have noticed that whenever there is a life-changing event, you will gain new people and you will lose some people. So with every child, with every marriage, with every divorce, with anything that's like a milestone, some people will be gravitated in and some will go away. And as you know, that's been a deep thing for me. I definitely do it more gracefully now. But so building community when my son was a baby, I didn't do it well, right? So I went way worse into my addiction until he was 18 months old. And that's when I changed my life. And I started to find, just people that were mothers, people that were trying to not get get wasted all the time because that's really all I knew. I was born and raised right here where I live, and I had to find new people, all new people.
Yeah.
You know, like I love when I hear of people like Phil, my man, who's had his best friends
I know,
from
what's
high
that
school.
like? Yeah, I don't know what
and
that's like.
college,
Yeah.
and the same. And I had to get rid of all those people because they were extremely harmful to if I wanted to change my life. And then when I had Scarlett, I was 5 years into my changing my life process, and even that changed. There was people that stepped up and were there and shine, and there was people that got weird and go away. And I feel like you get to see true colors and also find some really good people in moments like that are defining.
Yeah, absolutely.
How about you? Same question for you.
So, I've been in recovery. There's gratitude there, for both kids. And I have to say, even though I was in recovery, I was sober. I don't know how great my recovery was, if that makes sense, I should say. I was very isolated with my son, who's going to be 3 in October. I didn't really have friends. My best friend lived in New York, and, I had one other friend, and, she's not a mother, and it was really difficult. We talked about in another podcast that you can find community everywhere, which I think is really awesome. And just having some support,
virtual and
virtual.
person.
Yeah. So my son had cow milk protein allergy, CMPA. Never heard of it. No one tells you
so many things.
Nobody tells you these things when you're like having a
foot
kid.
mouth disease.
No, yeah.
Did you know what that was before you were a parent?
Never heard of it.
Never knew until my kid came home with it.
So, long story short, he was allergic to cow's milk. So that meant that, I was breastfeeding. I had to change my diet completely. I lost now mind you, obviously I had a kid, so it wasn't like now if I lost this, but it was like 20 pounds. I was pretty thin because I cut everything out of my diet to try to help him. And it still didn't help. He was losing weight. He was failure to thrive. And then I was losing weight. So I felt very defeated.
Yeah.
And
hard.
no one could relate to it because I didn't really have mom friends. So I actually joined a cow milk protein allergy mom group on Facebook.
There's something for everything, people. There's something out there to support you with anything.
Yeah. And I met a girl. We're still friends on Facebook. My son's outgrown that. He can have dairy now.
How's hers?
Yes. They're the same
honestly,
age.
cow milk's kind of gross. I mean,
I know.
Besides, the reaction, maybe.
But here's the thing,
because I can't drink cow milk.
But it's not necessary. I don't need to go into. It won't be a learning experience about cow milk protein allergy. But it's not necessarily what you would think of if you're lactose intolerant or you're allergic to dairy to a certain. It's a lot more complex.
Okay.
Because then all formulas are built with milk. And even if you get the ones that are amino acid based and they have a little bit of milk. So I had to get this formula. It was specially formulated. It's Neocate. So
Goat's
that was
milk?
No, supposedly that's what used to work. And he got better. So I found this girl, and she was going through the same stuff. We were up all night because our kids couldn't sleep because their stomachs were messed up, and we just support each other.
That's awesome. It's like you and me when you didn't sleep with the new baby with Serena.
Yeah.
We were, and I had insomnia. We were talking at all hours of the night.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that was when you had insomnia.
We haven't done that in a while.
Yeah, Amanda would text me at 3 a.m. She'd be like, "You up?" And I'm like, "Yep, I'm up." So now with Serena, I definitely was at a different phase. I was definitely more so in recovery. With the help of Amanda, I will say I'll for sure credit you for that, even though you wouldn't want the credit, that you've kind of pushed me to get out of my isolation in my house and just being a mom, being that definition of that.
That was a hard one.
That was hard.
Hard project.
Yeah, it was a hard project.
And it was just because I saw, I know just because I've been there, right? I know when you're a new mom, you don't want to leave your kids and you don't want to do anything and you feel guilty if you do something for, and I just knew that you were in that, you know what I mean? And until you were ready, I think you ultimately, did it when you were ready. I mean, there were some parameters and stuff as far as work-wise we had to set up with the daycare.
Yeah, I know. So
Sarah was anti-daycare for a long time.
Anti-daycare. I wanted to raise my kid, stay at home, which I love women that do that. I think it's amazing.
It's hard.
It is hard. I mean, I have to say, if the kids are sick and they're home now, I'm like, wow. I mean, how do people stay home with 1 kid, 2 kids, 3 kids, toddlers? Like you got to keep them entertained. And I felt like with me working full time too, I wasn't giving my child as much attention and education and
You weren't able to do both.
creativity.
You weren't
I
able to
couldn't
do
do
either.
both.
Yeah.
So when Serena was born, I had supports. I've definitely built more friendships, and I feel like I've grown into myself, which has made me a better mother. And I really love to support the new moms, that maybe have been in the situation like me, or moms that are in recovery. And it's really just finding like some people to talk to, even if it's just someone you'll never meet.
When I did the stay-at-home mom thing with Merrick short term, I didn't do it with Scarlett at all. I was ready to like have my time like right away. Just even like I worked a couple nights a week at like a country club in Palm Beach just to get some like adult I need that.
Yeah.
So being a stay-at-home mom and with your kids constantly, you start to feel really isolated from the world. Yes, it's beautiful and you can love it, but it's hard and it's ever consuming. And I've learned as a mother to Merrick and Scarlett is that when I go do things for me and I do things like to make my own goals and have my own life and get my own happiness and then I get to show up better for them as a mother, right?
Yeah.
They reap the rewards. We don't have a codependency thing on one another. Like we have a deep connection and deep love, but like my daughter's good if I leave town. It's when I get to like a 6-day mark, it gets squirrely with her. Merrick, he always jokes like he's going to go to therapy because I left him for a month to go to Jamaica when he was 5 and when to do a yoga thing. But like they're actually really supportive, and I think it helps them see that even if you have kids, you still have to take care of you.
Yeah, I do have a separate, complete, different question, which I think might help people. Is with Merrick. Obviously you had till he was 18 months. You got sober. When you got sober, did you go to treatment? Like, how did that look as a mom? Like, how did you feel when you're going through that process? Because we work with a lot of mothers that have struggled with, mental health, substance use disorder, and we're really like big supporters of that. So I just want to, maybe it could help someone.
I mean, if I could choose like one population to solely work with, it would I could do all mothers, right? Like that would be, I mean, I love working with a variety, but that's just my heart and my passion and my favorite because I was that mom. And the guilt and the shame that I had through that whole process of taking pills and drinking and doing cocaine and being up when he was getting up for the next morning and just leaving him in dirty diapers, like I couldn't even get that out like I just did without gut-wrenching crying, like almost puking. Like I felt like the biggest piece of shit.
Yeah.
So I went through a traumatic childhood and I felt like, oh, my son's screwed. This is what happens, right?
Yeah.
We pass it on, and he's gonna have a sad, scary life. And if I didn't make I couldn't stomach any longer just being that kind of mother. I first wanted to do it for him. They say, well, you have to do it for yourself. Well, first I did it for him, and then I did it for him and me.
Yeah.
I remember back in the day, that's how long ago it was. I was looking through the Yellow Pages.
Oh.
To find a rehab. And I only knew of Betty Ford in California and like Sunrise Detox in Florida. That was kind of all I knew of just from my aunt who was in and out of treatment and in and out of recovery. And I just went and I fought the first month, everything. I was the biggest a-hole client. I broke almost
every
rule.
Stay here or did you?
Yeah, I stayed here.
Okay.
Because I wanted my son to be able to come participate.
For sure.
Come see me and me still that was a big thing.
Yeah.
I want his dad to participate in the family therapy. At the time, he was still pretty upset with me, so he did not. Now we have a great, great relationship. We just threw our son's graduation party together and told each other we loved each other. And I love my children's dads, my ex-husbands.
That's amazing.
I'm the only person maybe in the world that has 2 that I absolutely love. And
there's others, I'm sure, but
I don't know.
It's rare.
I've never heard anyone talk like I will kill somebody for my 2 ex-husbands. I love them. They're great. They're very different ways, and they're great dads. So something happened to me. I woke up when I was there, and I was just like, "What are you doing? You've been doing that." I was in and out of place since I was 14 years old. And now I'm a mom, and like, why am I being an asshole in treatment, And I woke up and I just decided to try something and see if it worked. And I did like my little assignment, and I like showed up for a group and shut my mouth. And I just did everything I was really told to do, and stayed as long until they told me I was ready. I didn't want to make this like a thing again. I was tired of that. And this time it needed to be for me and to be able to show up for a mom. And, it was like a promise I made to myself and to him that like I would, keep taking care of myself to be able to be a good mom to both of them now,
Yeah.
you know, and that they are my motivation. They got to both be at my college graduation. They've seen me make hard choices, and I'm honest with them, and we're a support system. I am their mother. Like, there's no like, Scarlett is my BFF, but she knows I'm her mom.
Oh,
like,
no, I know. Yeah, you can tell.
Yeah. But you see like some enmeshment with like moms and daughters or moms and sons. Like, my son has more of a healthy fear of me than my daughter, which is funny.
I can see that.
He's 6'3", but a little scared of mom. Scarlett's like 5 foot, 11 years old.
She doesn't care.
No,
Yeah.
she'll chest up to me and be like, "What?"
That's typical girls, I feel like, you know?
Yeah. So no, it was one of the most painful things I ever had to talk about and talk through was like not being a present mom for the first 18 months. And I know that many moms don't even get the opportunity to stop when their children are that young. So no matter what their age is, even if they're adults, you know, you can change now. And it's not a promise that you'll be able to repair, but at least they'll know that you're okay if you don't repair. And if you do repair yourself, it takes time and it's not promised, but there is a lot of beautiful situations we see happen, right? And it's the greatest gift to see a mom or dad to be able to show up for their child in a way they never
I was going
could
to say
before.
dads too, for sure. Yeah.
I know some awesome dads that are doing the thing and there's some of this role reversal, I guess, from traditional past where like there's a lot of dads that are like doing all the things and the mom's MIA so this isn't just about moms. If you're a dad too. And for all the dads that are out there doing the damn thing and getting their shit together and showing up for their kids, like shout out to you too.
Seriously. Absolutely. Yeah. I had another question, which this is just funny because I talk to you every day. Did you go home after? And I don't know these things, so I'm literally asking. Like,
there's always more to find out about Amanda Marino.
So, did you go home after you went to treatment?
You really don't know this?
I swear I don't.
Okay, so I did.
Okay.
So back then there was not like. There were
like
some people went to sober living, but not. It wasn't like a thing like everybody does it now. Kind of thing. And there was the IOP wasn't like IOP, intensive outpatient. Because I have to remember, not everyone knows what IOP is. Maybe listening. So intensive outpatient, which is like a step down. You go from like detox, and you go to residential, and then you go to partial hospitalization, which is like in between outpatient, and then you go to outpatient if you do all the proper levels of care.
Yeah.
So I was in a PHP with like. But it was like residential. And I went to outpatient. So I just stayed with my therapist and went to meetings. And I did go home to my son's dad, who was still drinking and wasn't on, okay, now that you want to do this, like, okay, great. You're on your own, And so it was, I think I made it only like a week home with him. Before I told him, I asked him to please leave because I knew that if he didn't, I was going to go back down the path. And so he moved out, and then I didn't know how to do anything. I didn't know how to brush.
I was going to say, what did you?
I didn't know how to brush my damn teeth without being messed up. Like, we talk about like our
and
clients.
now your mom. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like I had him kind of like I still do now, 18 years later, half the time. So half the time I would just learn how to do life. Like, this is how you do dishes without being high. This is how you take care of a kid. And like we learned and grew up together, me and Merrick, because I was 3 when I found out I was pregnant, 24 when I had him, and 26 when I changed my life. And he's taught me so much, and I've taught him so much. Like he's so committed to the gym, and I'm like, you remember who
brought you to that gym? Yeah,
who you're following after right now?
Yeah,
it's me. So it took time with his dad and grandpa to respect me, to trust me, and like now we have the greatest relationship too.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I just followed everything that I was told.
That must have been hard.
It was hard, and I would not recommend it.
Because I was saying it was hard for me in sober living with no kids. So I couldn't imagine getting out of treatment and having to go back to, a home life where you have to take care of someone, you know?
And have someone who's not like bought into your journey, your healing process, and is like going out till 2 a.m. and
yeah.
Like that was hard.
Yeah.
He ended up getting his, he never was, of course, like I was, but he ended up getting his shit together a couple years later, like really making a huge drastic change. And he's been amazing since. But yeah, I always like would party him under the table and he'd fall asleep.
Sure.
And he's still going, He's just an Irish drinker.
You just go to sleep. Yeah.
Yeah. I was not that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was, I never would recommend it to anyone. It was super, super hard. And I was actually jealous of women I knew that lived in sober homes.
living, yeah.
And they were jealous of me.
Yeah.
Because I had my own home and I was like, no, but I have like real responsibilities. Like
I remember being jealous of people that were going back to their houses and I had to go to sober living. And now I look at it and I'm like, I kind of like that I had to go to sober living.
Yeah, I looked at it like it was a sorority because I never had the college experience like that. I went back to college. It looked to me, they all had like the same shirts. They had they all did events together.
Yeah.
They had slumber parties every night. This is what's going on in my head, and I have some real life adult shit going on here, you know. And it was meant to be my journey, and it made me stronger. And you know, I lived at that place for a little bit longer. Then my parents bought another house that I rented. I lived there for like 6 years, and you know, and then it's just been constant change since.
So you can do it from going to treatment, going back into a home setting where you have to be a mom in recovery. You know,
you can. Yeah, I recommend having your partner not be engaging in getting intoxicated. Also being supportive in the process, and I would recommend having a strong plan. This plan was. It could have set me up for failure, but I was just, like you said, it didn't matter where I was put. I was done.
You were done. Yeah.
And I didn't see, I was so worried because being from here, who am I going to see?
Yeah.
I'm going to see people because I was the person I could go, I still am kind of like that, but I could go anywhere and see somebody.
Yeah,
and it was always a bad person. I love this part of my story. 1 year, not one person did I bump into anywhere I went.
Wow.
And then right around my year, right down the street from my little clubhouse that I always went to my meetings at, I bumped into my old drug dealer boyfriend, and he looked so gross.
Oh.
I was like, ugh. Like, what was I thinking? So
Don't you love those moments when you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, I have a decade of those moments. So
Me too. I'm good.
wait, how do I know them?
Oh, yeah, those two, yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, so now if I bump into somebody, it's very different. Now I've been like a beacon of light. Like it was for a while, like when Facebook came out and social media, like I wanted to prove to everybody that I had made it. I had made it out. And so there was some ego in there and I was the most fucked up girl in the town. Now I want to show people that like I actually got out of it.
Yeah.
And so some of it was about that, with being public and recovery. And then it's not so anymore. I don't really give a shit about any of them. A lot of them not living good lives, and what does it matter? But I have been able to be a person that people that I grew up with reach out to and get support.
Yeah. No, I love that.
That I'm grateful for.
Awesome.
Yeah. How do you feel about your position right now as a mom in recovery?
I feel solid.
Okay.
My day-to-day looks different. I ensure that I, spend time with my kids. I put my phone down. I really struggled with that for a while, which I'm sure a lot of people do, is kind of like you're always so connected to your phone. Johnny had reminded me, like, someday, like, Bryce isn't going to want to be like, mommy, play, Yeah. So I've definitely been setting boundaries with, putting my phone down, playing with my kids, but ensuring that I have me time, going to the gym, doing the sauna. I've started doing some different types of meetings recently, doing my reading and, artwork, when the kids go to bed, and just kind of, instead of just like scrolling on social media, which is easy to do, because you can get so lost in it. So I'm like, tonight I'm doing this painting or this, and it just makes me feel good once it's accomplished. And just connecting with other people, I think, is really important. And I really strive. I was never friends with girl. I mean, I didn't have friends. I wouldn't even say I had guy friends. I had like a boyfriend, and then that was it. Like, and
guy friends that were playing that friend role till they could get closer.
Yeah, exactly.
That was all of their intentions.
It wasn't like I didn't like girls. I usually had a boyfriend, and that was kind of, I just was so codependent, and I was good with that. I really strive for female relationships now, in a small circle. Yeah. And I went out to dinner the other night, and it was really good. Like, it was like strong women. We're all kind of on the same page, all strong in our recovery. And it felt good,
Yeah, you've been going outside the norm.
Yeah, I got dressed up.
Yeah, you went out at night. I can't believe it. It was 6 o'clock, so that's why you went. If it was any later.
Oh, no. If they were like 9 o'clock dinner, call me when it's 6. I mean, I'm not doing that. There's my boundary. Like, I'd much rather be in bed at 9 o'clock, and that's okay.
Yeah, that's totally cool.
If there was like a concert or something cool, like, I'd go, or the casino, like something, but not to go to dinner. Like, I like to go to dinner at 6. I'm like, what's it called? early,
the
early bird special.
Early bird special. That's what it's like when you have young. I mean, I was up at like 5 a.m. back when my kids were little.
Yeah, I'm up early.
I ran before they even woke up sometimes.
I know.
Like
I was
shit
thinking
like
about that this morning, but then I was like, I'll just go to the
I went through a whole crazy thing with all that. But yeah, no, I love that we got to connect. And,
Yes.
and as our moms, and we talk all day, every day, but just to talk on this level is cool.
Yeah. I learned some new stuff about you.
Oh, there's always more.
I know. 10 years from now, I'm going to be like, oh, I didn't know that. That's so weird.
I feel like Blake always said that to me. I was dying. He's like, how do I not know this by now?
I know.
Like, I don't know. Just you don't think about it.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can find us on all the podcast platforms. Please stream, download, share with your friends, do all the things, and find us at Next Level Recovery Associates, Amanda Marino, Sarah Frias. Thank you for joining
Thank you.
Mom Talk, Mom Life.
Talk. Or it could be Dad Talk too.
Yeah, parent time.
Parent time.
Thank you guys.
Bye.